and welcome to St. Louis and Me. I'm Teresa Petrie. Today we want to introduce you to Megan Morgan, the program director at DASA, Disabled Athletes Sports Association. Megan, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start by telling us a little bit about exactly what does DASA do?
So DASA is a Disabled Athletes Sports Association. We have been around for 26 years now. We focus on providing recreation and competitive sports opportunities for people with physical disabilities in the state of Missouri or in areas just outside of Missouri, including Illinois as well. We offer our programs in a variety of different ways. Like I said, recreation opportunities, if people are interested in just trying out a new adaptive sport or they're not interested in a competitive environment, we have different sport opportunities or fitness opportunities for them to try all those sports out. We do competitive sports. So if somebody is looking to be more of a competitive athlete, they can travel all over the country competing in those sports. We provide fitness opportunities. So we have a all-inclusive one-on-one gym that we provide fitness or training opportunities for our athletes to work one-on-one with our trainers. We also offer some specialty programs. So if somebody's interested in a camp opportunity, we've got a week-long camp where we provide a lot of different of our sports at the camp. It's an incredible opportunity for kids to be kids and try out the sports, but also we have a chocolate syrup slide at camp. We go rock climbing, we go tree climbing. We allow the kids to really have the opportunity to be kids at a summer camp, much like their peers get that opportunity to have a summer camp opportunity, an overnight camp opportunity. We provide that opportunity for many of our athletes as well.
Let's take a closer look at DASA and what it's all about.
I started in 1997. I am a physical therapist. I was working in neuro rehab with some spinal cord injuries and was introduced to adaptive sport at that time. As I moved on to start working in the pediatric population, I noticed that there was a need for a better therapeutic avenue. These individuals deserve just as much support, but mostly just as much respect for the individuals that they are, whether it's in athletics or in your job or at school. Children that are born with disabilities, the families are told they won't, they can't, don't expect this out of them. And through DASA, it's been amazing to demonstrate to the families, oh, they can and they will.
DASA is amazing. The community and the DASA family is such an important part of my life. I feel so welcomed. Everyone is so loved. When you're a part of DASA, you know that you've got a community that has your back. DASA came out and did a power soccer demo, and they put me in one of the chairs, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing I have ever done in my life. It's just a really high energy, high intensity, fast-paced sport that just really allows individuals who are power chair users to have that team experience that maybe they didn't think they would ever have. DASA offers something no matter your age, your disability type, or your ability level, and that's the most amazing thing about DASA, because everyone is welcome and everyone can participate in adaptive sports.
Prior to my wife's stroke, she was exceptionally active. She would work out 4 times, 5 times a day. She got up and went and worked out. About a half an hour into her workout, she came out and said help. Took her to the hospital soon after that, and it was a hemorrhagic stroke. They said she'd never walked, that she'd never be able to talk, and she's doing all those things. She has come so far from what they said was going to be possible. And once she started coming here, her arms were getting stronger, her legs were getting stronger. She was able to do more, and she was feeling better about herself, which is really what it's all about. Every day she got better, but every day she felt good about herself. Every day she would look forward to coming here. What more can you ask for? Where'd you go? Boo.
Good job. That's awesome.
Emmett's dad and I found out at 13 weeks that we were having a child with spina bifida. Things have been challenging, but he perseveres and does everything with joy. As a family, it has brought in the acceptance for his brothers to realize that he is able to also play the sports that his brothers play. It has also grown Emmett's knowledge. You know, at 3, 4 years old, it's hard for him to answer the question at the playground, why do you have braces? DASA has made that awareness for him. They help me walk, they help me run. He's starting to learn to advocate for himself, and I think that's the confidence that DASA has given him as well.
DASA's ultimate goal for these individuals and all the individuals that we serve is that they feel a purpose and they believe that their abilities mean something. They believe that their community, whether it's work, school, home, believes in them and that they're able to demonstrate that and feel comfortable demonstrating that.
DASA has absolutely helped me grow as a person and be more independent. It absolutely just fosters community and independence and really just like putting your best effort in.
The thing that we love about DASA is it's a community that everybody can belong to, and we feel like almost at home when we come to events, and that is only possible with those that support and donate to DASA. And we can't be more blessed and grateful for that.
This is a very unique opportunity to donate your support. It's an opportunity in which you know that you are directly impacting an individual that's doing amazing things. And whether that is being the future to a Paralympian, working towards a college scholarship, or the 2-year-old that's understanding I have abilities in this world. That's what you will be directing your funding towards.
I couldn't help but notice the wide age range of participants in the video. Give us a little more insight as to who are your participants.
Some of our athletes have incurred an injury, a spinal cord injury or amputation that has left them with a physical disability. But a lot of those athletes were athletes prior to their injury. And so we can show them that they're still able to be athletes. That doesn't really go away with an injury. You know, an athlete is an athlete at their core no matter what. So if they had a spinal cord injury due to a car accident, but they were a basketball player prior to their injury, if they have the ability to continue to play basketball, we show them how to play basketball in a different way. So they can still be active, they can still participate in that sport, but they're just doing it a little bit differently. They're doing it from a wheelchair instead of, running on their legs this time, but we show them that they can still, dribble the ball, they can still reach that hoop, they can still be that competitor that they still have in their core and need it for their own mental health. I mean, athletes need that sport, that competition, that camaraderie with their friends, to feel like a good person. I mean, I know personally that I do too. So we just want to offer that opportunity for athletes that have been injured. Some of our athletes are born with their disability, and their parents may not know from the get-go that they could be, that their child could be an athlete the way that they were an athlete, or that the athlete's siblings are athletes. And DASA provides that opportunity for their child with a disability to participate in sports just the way that their siblings participate in the sport, just the way that they participated in sports as they grew up. So it is what's in their core to be an athlete, and DASA can provide that opportunity for these athletes. And our athletes that are working out in our gym range from athletes who are just trying to get fit, May have incurred an injury, but they're not done yet. They're not done getting stronger, working on personal goals. And so they may come to our gym to work on some of those personal goals. And maybe it's to walk without their walker or without their canes. So our trainers are specialized in working on different movements and different exercises to help those athletes, work on those goals. Other athletes that are working out in the Ability Gym are there to train for sports. We have elite athletes that are either on Team USA, or we have an athlete who is representing Team Puerto Rico, and they come into our gym to train for those elite competitions. We have other athletes who are, on Team USA for para powerlifting, and so they're coming to the gym to do their workouts and train with our trainers who have, again, that background in working with people with disabilities. So the beautiful part of working out at the Ability Gym is that it is one-on-one, and so the athletes in the Ability Gym are very diverse. Everybody's goals are different in there, whether it is working out just to be healthy or whether it's working out to get on Team USA.
Thanks, Megan. Now let's meet one of DASA's athletes.
My wife and I were both devastated when we found out that Brett was going to have spina bifida. The doctor came in and told us that Brett would never walk, he would never crawl, he would never even be able to roll over. We opted to leave that physician. Neurosurgeon had told us there's no stopping Brett. He'll be able to do everything that he wants to do.
When I was really young, I saw that my sister and brother were playing like basketball, and my sister was playing volleyball at the time. I'm like, hey, I want to do a sport.
The first sport that Brett ever participated in was Challenger baseball. Absolutely great sport for kids. Gets them out in the ball field. They get to hit the ball. But Brett said, Dad, this isn't real baseball. Brett wanted to compete. And right before Christmas, one of the local coaches, the track coach, told Brett, hey, we're going to have you throw shot and disc. But to find out how to throw out of a chair, the only people I knew was DASA. So we contacted Kelly. We got him a chair ordered, and it was built, and it came in, and he got to compete his freshman year in track and field. For the first Gateway Games, we were looking to see what everything DASA could offer. And we saw a little thing called para powerlifting. And Brett kicked butt and qualified for the Junior Nationals. The Junior Nationals, Mary Hodge, head coach of Team USA para powerlifting, goes, oh my goodness, look at those shoulders. So we just followed exactly what Mary Hodge was saying. At that point, he broke the USA record for his age group in powerlifting. He made Team USA. His brother and sister were ecstatic. He is planning on going and representing Team USA in Portugal. After that, he will have a meet in Oklahoma, then a meet in Dubai. So he goes everywhere.
Someday I hope to be in the Paralympics and compete at one of the highest levels. Just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean that I work more or less than anybody else. There's other pro athletes that aren't in chair that works just as hard as I do.
Anybody who has a child with special needs, that has a child in a wheelchair, has a child that has issues with walking or just using forearm crutches, they need to check out what DASA has to offer. We definitely would not be able to be where we're at without DASA.
Wow. So what are the considerations that need to be taken before signing up?
It's all specialized equipment. You can't just go into, a sporting goods store and buy a wheelchair rugby chair. There's about 3 manufacturers in the world that make these sports chairs. And so when you got thousands of people trying to order their own personal equipment. It takes longer to make the equipment and it costs more. When we're traveling to competitions or even going to practice, you got to think about, what kind of car do people have? We can't just say, oh, you should do a wheelchair track because that'd be good for you. We got to look at, can they even transport that chair that is super long and it's lightweight, but it's long. And so do they have a car with seats that fold down? And then do they have room for their everyday wheelchair? So there's a lot of other considerations that go into adaptive sports. And we have to think about that as, we're the professionals and what kind of sports are we recommending for people? And we can't recommend power wheelchair soccer to everybody because you have to have a specialized car to transport that soccer chair to and from practices, to and from competition. And, a lot of people playing our sports, their bodies might just be shaped differently. So they need additional, backrests that look different and are molded different. And so each one of those adaptations is more of a cost for our athletes on their chairs. The difference in cost for our athletes to participate is greatly higher than able-bodied sports. So a lot of our support comes from our community. We rely heavily on donations. We do some grant writing. There's not a ton of grants out there for adaptive sports. So connecting with our community and having the support and the donations from our community is super important to us and our athletes as well. So we try to keep our costs for participation super low. So it might be $40 for an 8-week session, which I know I even pay for my kids' swim lessons, and it's about 3 times that cost. A soccer chair, play power wheelchair soccer can start at $10,000. And so we really are trying to keep the cost low for our participants because they do have a lot of other costs in their life, medical costs or money to spend on adaptations for their home or for their car. So it is very important for us here at DASA to keep the costs low for our athletes to participate in sports. We are able to provide a lot of adaptive equipment to our athletes when they're first starting out, and then we try to help them with finding grant or funding opportunities for them to buy their own piece of equipment as they advance in their sport. So it's like buying a new pair of shoes. You don't want to borrow somebody else's shoes forever. You want your own pair of shoes so that you run the best you can run. So the help from our support in our community financially it makes it possible for us to keep our costs low and continue providing adaptive opportunities and adaptive equipment to our athletes. There's a whole lot of other details that go into adaptive sports that make it a little bit more complicated than going out and buying a baseball mitt and a baseball bat. So
that's a lot to think about. What about the athletes themselves? I imagine it can be kind of scary to get out there on a court, field, join a team, have spectators. I imagine there's a little bit of trepidation.
We have coaches who are trained to working with people with disabilities. Sports can be dangerous. And so we don't soften that blow for our athletes. I mean, our athletes are competitors. We offer wheelchair rugby. Wheelchair rugby can be a dangerous sport, but when you practice hard and you learn the sport in an environment and an atmosphere where people are trained to teach that sport, then it lessens the opportunity for danger to happen. So we're fortunate where our DASA coach is a Team USA or has been a Team USA coach. So she is familiar with educating athletes on how to, fall in a way that is more safe. We use a lot of straps and foam and cushions to kind of help prevent some of the falls and injuries. But I would say that, sports can be dangerous. And so, our athletes know that risk, and like any able-bodied athlete, there's risk that comes involved with some sports, but we try to make it a calculated risk and make it so it's about competition and fun as well. I think it depends on the athlete on how much fear they have, but I think when they are surrounded by other people who can show them that they are able to be athletes, they've got the ability to be an athlete, a lot of that fear goes away. They're surrounded by people who have disabilities like them, people with different disabilities, but when they, get out of their everyday chair, they take off their prosthetic legs, and they get in that sports wheelchair, and they become an athlete, and they become a team. I think all of that fear goes away, and it's more, butterflies that you have before a game. It's no longer, are people looking at me differently, or are people treating me differently? It's am I going to make my baskets? Am I going to, dribble the ball? Am I going to satisfy my own personal goals and our team goals? So I think the fear changes and dissipates from, am I going to get hurt again? Or am I going to, get funny looks or whatever. But it goes more towards butterflies of a game instead of the fear of how people are looking at me. I think there are a lot of people who have incurred an injury or were born with a disability who are told throughout their lives they can't do something. And I think that those of us in the adaptive sports world, those of us at DASA are really, all we're trying to do is show people that they can do things. They're going to do things differently than they may have done it in the past. And they're going to do things differently than they thought it would look like, but they can do things. There's a lot of different opportunities out there for them. And they're out there to show the world that they can do things. A lot of our athletes are stubborn in the fact that they're not going to let the world stop them from doing the sports and the activities that they want to be doing. So I think in that respect, yeah, they're out there to show the world what they can do.
We'd like to share another perspective with you. Let's listen to a trainer, Ashley Brandt, about the impact that she has seen working with some of these athletes.
As an adaptive trainer, it probably seems that the biggest impact that our athletes get is physical. However, I would say that they probably have even bigger impact in their mental health and in their emotional well-being. Whenever we have a goal that is reached or met, and let's say that goal is walking into the gym independently by themselves without having another person with them. When that athlete is able to walk into the gym by themselves and do this by themselves, that is to affirm their hard work in the gym and that they have worked on their balance and that they have worked on their strength and endurance. But for that person, having that sense of independence really gives them so much more comfort and motivation, and it's encouragement, and it just gives them that sense of like, I can do this, no matter what it is that my environment says around me, no matter what it is that society thinks about me, I can do this. And it gives them that sense of accomplishment. And of course, that's motivating and makes them want to go and reach more goals. So having these training sessions, it does impact them physically and it does help them out in their day-to-day life, but it really does, I would argue, so much more for their mental health and for their independence and just how it is that they're feeling and how they view themselves as a whole.
I was born in Puerto Rico with a foot deformity, which made it difficult to walk. At 14 months, I had an amputation near the ankle joint. My first prosthesis came, and I began to walk right away. Several years later, I got involved with DASA and started competing in swim and track and field events, setting national records. In 2021, I was invited by the Challenge Athletes Foundation and USA Para Triathlon to attend a camp at their elite training facility. In May 2022, I completed my first short distance triathlon during the Gateway Games. I've also had the privilege to join the Puerto Rico Paralympic team. I will be racing the Youth Para Panamerican in Colombia in June of next year and for the Para Panamerican Games that are being held in Santiago, Chile in November of 2023. With the help of DASA, I can make my dreams come true.
Megan, what is it about being an athlete that is so important to the core of the participants in your programs?
I think it's the opportunity to compete and to be an athlete that gets people fired up. Not everybody has that in their core. I'm fortunate that I was an athlete growing up, and so I understand it. It's something that drives us to be better humans. If we're feeling good mentally and physically, I feel like we have more to contribute to our families, our work environment, our community. When we're active and feeling good about ourselves, we are better people. So I think that competition provides that opportunity for our athletes with disabilities as well. They're able to be active, moving, and show their communities and their families that they can be competitive athletes as well. And they're not an inspiration. Nobody's out there to inspire the world, or they're just out there to be athletes and prove to themselves and to the world that they can do things. But a lot of the world talks about our athletes as inspirations, and that's not what they want to be. They want to be an athlete. Showing our world that people with disabilities are athletes to the highest form. We've got athletes that are working day and night to represent our country at the Paralympics, and it just is. I think not only does it help them satisfy their self-worth and their own personal goals, but it shows our community and our world that athletes with disabilities can persevere and can perform at the highest level of competition if that's what they're interested in doing. So yeah, personally, I am a better person when I work out and I'm active and I eat healthy, and I think that's what everyone at DASA believes in. I think we just are trying to provide that opportunity for everybody with a physical disability to have that opportunity to stay active, stay fit in whatever capacity they want to, or whatever their goals are, and be able to provide them with that physical opportunity, whether it is playing in a sport, whether it's an individual sport or a competitive sport, or working out in the gym. The array of options that we have here at DASA are a plethora. And so it's just whatever anybody wants to do, we want to be there for them, so that they can be active and stay healthy in their lives, to keep up with their children, or be there for their grandchildren, or just be there with their peers to be active and competing, and give them something to work on in their life and to achieve those physical and active goals and that most people have in their lives. DASA just wants to be able to provide those opportunities for our athletes with disabilities as well.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Megan. If you or anyone you know is interested in the programs that DASA has to offer, check out their website at dasasports.org. And thank you for watching. Until next time, continue to be inspired.